I saw a lot of articles and headlines floating around out there that the single motor Cybertruck has become the cheapest Tesla you can order, technically because the standard range plus Model 3 is now $42,000. But I think it's a great time to get some expectations in check when it comes to Cybertruck pricing, and keep in mind that the prices Tesla advertised back when they unveiled the Cybertruck were aspirational. They are not concrete, and I feel like I have to say this a lot, but it's a very painful reminder that I see a lot of people not understanding. If you check the Cybertruck pre-order terms and conditions, Tesla makes it very clear in their contract they do not have to honor that price point, even if you put $100 down. The only thing that you can lock in your price for when it comes to the Cybertruck is FSD. So if you hit FSD at $7,000, yes, Tesla technically has to honor that $7,000 price point. But when it comes to dual motor, tri-motor, single motor Cybertrucks, which honestly I have a hard time believing will ever make it to market, Tesla by no means has to honor those original prices, and very likely won't at this point, because the main reason we're seeing prices get higher with Tesla's vehicles is supply chain issues alongside inflation, and the fact that there's a lot of US dollars being printed right now, and that's driving the cost of everything pretty much to go up between goods and services, and yes, of course, including vehicles, used vehicles as well. And part of the reason Tesla has decided to up their prices across the lineup is because they know the demand is far higher than there is supply for, and when you have crazy high demand, there's really no sense in keeping your prices low, because it's the equivalent of someone washing dishes and you kind of like actively putting a bunch of dirty dishes in their way. It's like, hey, give me a second here, because right now ordering a Tesla is just kind of adding to the already insane backlog of orders that Tesla currently cannot fill. So we know that demand for the Cybertruck is through the roof. You know, if our estimation calculators are correct, it sounds like there's well over 1 million reservations, granted many of which I'm sure will be canceled, and I know dozens and dozens of people personally that have reserved more than one Cybertruck. So I would not be shocked if something like 50 or 60% of those reservations don't turn into finalized orders, but still, I'm sure once deliveries begin, there will likely be another huge wave of orders that comes in, so that kind of counteracts a lot of the orders that may not go through. And because Tesla is not going to be able to produce, you know, hundreds of thousands of Cybertrucks within their first year of production, they've got more demand than they know how to fill. And if it's going to be anything like the Model S, X, 3, or Y, Tesla has no reason to keep prices low when you have that type of backlog, and I expect the Cybertruck to be no exception. They're going to see so many orders pouring in that they decide to up the overall price, because that's Tesla's active way of telling you, hey, we've already got a lot of orders to fill. We're not really that interested in taking more orders right now, but if you really, really want one, you're going to have to pay a premium for it. So that's when you see prices go up. And similar to how Tesla scrapped the 35K Model 3, they introduced it briefly and then quickly got rid of it. And it's somewhat of a similar story with the standard range Model Y. They had it there for about a month and then they got rid of it. I'll honestly be very surprised if the single motor Cybertruck actually ends up being delivered, because from the data we know that Elon Musk has provided, it seems to be the least ordered option. Most people were ordering tri-motor and dual motor Cybertrucks, so Tesla could easily argue that, well, you know, most people with a truck, they want all-wheel drive, so we've decided that the single motor Cybertruck doesn't reach our standard of excellence, and they end up just taking it off the site, and all the people that reserved one are just waiting around for it to happen. In previous videos talking about the single motor Cybertruck, there was a lot of people saying that Tesla would only make enough for the people who reserved one, but then not really take any more orders. But as we've seen with the rear-wheel drive long-range Model Y, Tesla really has no contractual obligation to officially deliver a vehicle that they've accepted money for. They make sure that legally they're all fine terms and conditions wise, so that if you do order a vehicle, they can back out on that deal. They could probably refund you your money, but just because Tesla has accepted money for a particular vehicle does not guarantee that they have to make that vehicle within a reasonable amount of time. So Tesla likes simplification, and they like streamlining manufacturing and not having that many options to fill. And honestly, the Model Y right now doesn't even have that much variety compared to just 2 Cybertruck options, because both Model Y tiers available are both dual motor, they both have the same size battery, and the only difference with performance is a bit more beefed up brakes, the spoiler, and some higher size tire options that aren't available available for the long range. So I honestly would not be shocked if, to streamline production, Tesla decides to kind of only go for one Cybertruck configuration for a long time. Whether they just want to do dual motor and it ends up costing way more than we thought, or maybe Tesla just wants to prioritize tri-motor because the margins on that vehicle are probably pretty high, and it's likely one of the most heavily demanded versions of the Cybertruck because the range is so good and a lot of people care about towing. I'm just saying, because there's been a lot of inflation over the past couple years, and after the last shareholder meeting, Elon specifically stated that they don't expect Cybertruck production to begin until the end of 2022. There's a lot more inflation that can take place in that amount of time, so if Cybertrucks end up costing $5,000 or $10,000 more than Tesla originally expected, I will not be shocked, because they've obviously driven up prices because of high demand and because of supply chain issues with their current vehicles. And I think the Cybertruck, given its size, given the built-in air compressor, the adaptive air suspension system, armored glass, the larger display, the updated cameras, the updated full self-driving computer, the bigger tires, the tailgate ramp, there's so much more that goes into the Cybertruck. And yeah, I'm sure it gets to skip a few steps by not having a paint shop and not having body panels to worry about, but from Elon's tone he's given about Cybertruck, it sounds like this type of vehicle has, of course, never been mass produced before, and there's a lot more complexity going on with it than people really know about. And at this point, I honestly think that the reason Tesla designed the Cybertruck the way they did, and the reason they went with the steel, bizarre exoskeleton design, was not because it would allow them to hit prices that no one else could beat. It was more so to hit weight numbers and range numbers that no one else could reach, because so far, I don't see any company that's trying to target really a 500-mile range electric pickup truck. And I think that the exoskeleton and the structural pack allow for those amazing specifications to be reached, but it may not be so much about price as we originally thought. I would love to be proven wrong. I hope that the Cybertruck ends up not costing too much more than what they originally expected, but I'm just trying to tell you guys to have realistic expectations about this. And no, I don't think the single motor Cybertruck is going to end up being the cheapest Tesla you can order. I think those are dated numbers, and basically Tesla should update the site as soon as possible just to let people know, like, hey, the real price of this vehicle is going to be a lot more than you thought. Feel free to let me know what your price predictions are, and is the single motor Cybertruck actually going to be made, or will Tesla save that for a smaller Wolverine edition of the Cybertruck? And do you think tri-motor will come first, dual motor will come first, all that good stuff? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.